Anne of Green Gables, Chapter 7, Anne Goes to School. Anne started school in September. The Avonlea School was a white building with one big room. Inside were desks that opened and shut at the top. "Marilla, I think I'm going to like school," Anne said when she came home. "I met Ruby Gillis and Tilly Boulter, but Diana is still my best friend. And Prissy Andrews told Sarah Gillis that I had a very pretty nose. That's the first nice thing anyone's ever said about my looks. Is it true, Marilla? Do I have a pretty nose?" Your nose is nice enough," Marilla said. Secretly, she thought that Anne's nose was very pretty. 3 weeks later, Anne and Diana were walking to school together as usual. "Gilbert Blythe will be in school today," Diana said. "He's been visiting his cousins all summer. He'll be in your class. He missed a lot of school when he went out west with his father. He's in the 4th class, even though he's almost 14. The girls entered the schoolhouse and sat at the desk they shared. "That's Gilbert Blythe sitting across from you, Anne," whispered Diana. "Don't you think he's very handsome?" Anne looked across the aisle. Gilbert Blythe was a tall boy with curly brown hair and a teasing smile. Gilbert looked at Anne and winked. "He is handsome," Anne whispered to Diana. "I think he's very bold, though. It isn't good manners to wink at a stranger." But it wasn't until the afternoon that things really began to happen. Mr. Phillips was in the back of the room helping Prissy with a math problem. No one else was studying. They were eating apples, whispering to each other, or drawing pictures on their slates. Gilbert was trying to make Anne look at him, but Anne was gazing out the window and daydreaming. Gilbert wasn't used to being ignored by a girl, so he picked up the end of Anne's long red braid. Then he said in a loud whisper, "Carrots! Carrots!" Anne turned and glared at him. She jumped to her feet. "How dare you!" she shouted. And then, thwack! Anne hit Gilbert over the head with her slate. Mr. Phillips marched down the aisle. "Anne Shirley, what does this mean?" he asked. Anne didn't answer. She wouldn't tell everyone she had been called carrots. "It was my fault," Gilbert said. "I teased her." Mr. Phillips paid no attention to Gilbert. "I am sorry to see a student of mine display such a temper," he said. "Anne, go stand at the blackboard." Anne did not cry or hang her head. She was still too angry. After school, Anne marched out with her head held high. Gilbert hurried up to her. "I'm sorry I made fun of your hair, Anne," he said. "Honest, don't be mad." But Anne just swept right past him. "Oh, how could you, Anne?" Diana asked as they walked down the road together. "I will never forgive Gilbert Blythe," Anne said. "But Gilbert makes fun of all the girls," Diana said. "He laughs at my hair because it's so black. He calls me a crow." "Being called carrots is worse," said Anne. "Gilbert Blythe has hurt my feelings terribly, Diana." But that was just the beginning.